Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I am doing the $1,000 Sephora Dream Basket tag. This was created by Emily Noel, and I've seen a lot of other creators, Teresa's Dead, Butte Bean, and I'm sure a few others. I've seen a lot of people doing this, and I thought it would be a really fun idea. I was actually going to film this yesterday, but I had to go to the doctor, and then I had to get blood work done, and then they took a lot more blood than anticipated, so I was out of commission. I'm fine now, everything's fine, but I was tired and disgusting. So basically this is a tag where you fill up your Sephora basket with $1,000 of things that you would want. My total came to $1,004, but I figure if you're in a financial position of dropping $1,000 on makeup, an extra $4 isn't going to kill you.
Hi, editing Alex here. I also calculated it, and with that amount of money that I'd theoretically spent at Sephora, $1,000 equals 778 spicy potato soft tacos from Taco Bell. And that is calculated in New Jersey, where the value menu is $1.29 instead of $1, but if I were in Virginia with my parents, I could get 1,004 spicy potato soft tacos. And I'm only sharing this because I find that economics are significantly easier to understand when I'm not thinking about it in terms of money, but I'm thinking about it in terms of my favorite menu item from Taco Bell. I don't think that actually has any, bearing on y'all at all, but I just thought it would be neat.
I did do this at like 1 a.m. A couple nights ago, so who knows if these picks actually make sense, but they are all things that I am genuinely interested in. It kind of went down like my loves list and a few other categories and releases that I've heard about, and I also just want to get this one done because there is this little anxiety in the back of my head of like, oh my god, what if you actually press checkout and like overdrafted your bank account on a hypothetical Sephora video. I'm not going to do this with any rhyme or reason. I'm kind of just going down what is actually in my Sephora basket. I've noticed when I pull that up, it changes the order of it every single time. So I am just gonna go ahead and get into it. So the first item that I thought I would get is from Bareminerals, because I actually kind of like Bareminerals as a company. I think they're they're not amazing, but they make some good stuff for what I kind of go for when it comes to face products. And this is their Bounce and Blur blush in Coral Cloud. I have been wanting to try that formula because I have their Gen Nude blushes, so I wanted to try their other blush formula. I also have one of their loose blushes, which I don't use a whole lot, but I should use more because it's very nice and very flattering. So yeah, I just put this in my cart because it looks like the kind of blush I would enjoy, and I don't often buy high-end blushes because I feel like a lot of drugstore ones, you know, they're fine. Drugstore blushes are fine. I don't feel the need to spend that much money on it, but I feel like if I could spend $1,000 at Sephora and not really care, buying a couple high-end blushes would actually be something that I would want to go for. That way I could try some new formulas and all of that. So I think that would be a pretty flattering color, and it looks like something I would just genuinely enjoy. I might try and do it by brand, so I'm just going to remove things from my basket as I go. I have my computer over here. Speaking of Bareminerals, I also got one of their Gen Nude powder blushes because I really like the one I have. It is in the shade You Had Me at Merlot, and I've said this in videos before, but I'm pretty certain that Bareminerals made that entire Gen Nude line specifically for me because I love a good neutral blush. And so I decided to put in the one in the shade That Peach, though, because I have actually been leaning towards a more peach blush, which is not something that I would have tried in the past, but I think it's, you know, as we move into the summer months, that becomes a lot more flattering, so I would be super excited to get that. And finally, from Bareminerals, I would also go for their Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 30. I actually got a sample of this from Sephora a couple years ago when I was trying to change up my base routine. I think it was kind of when I moved from Virginia to New Jersey and my skin went from being super gross and oily all the time to having no moisture whatsoever in it. And I got that one and it actually worked pretty well. I ended up buying my NYX Tinted Skin Veil, mostly because they're both really good, but the NYX one is obviously cheaper, and it's kind of along the lines of how I feel about blush, is I don't feel the need to spend a whole lot of money on a complexion BB cream type situation if I have a drugstore alternative that I really like. You know, if I'm splurging, I could always use more of that sort of product on my face, so I decided to pick that one up. Next up, I figured, you know, if I'm spending $1,000 at Sephora, why not go for some Natasha Denona? Because I've never tried her brand. Not sure if I ever will, but hey, why not give it a shot? So two of the things, I picked up two of her duochrome top coats. I got one in lavender, in the lavender to gold and silver shift, and then I also got one in the burnt terracotta to green shift. I'm pretty certain I saw Atlee use these in one of her videos, and I thought they were super pretty. They were just like a nice little duochrome, well, that's it, exactly what the name says. It's a duochrome top coat, and they're 28 bucks a piece, which is why they are sitting on my loves list, probably to never see the light of day, because that is a lot to pick up. That's a lot of money for a top coat eyeshadow. So I'm probably never actually getting these, but they look really fun, and I think I would have a really good time playing with them in addition to some of my other shadows. I know that they have one more that kind of leans more on the neutrally side, which I put in my basket and then I like put away because it's like, maybe not that one. But since these are a little bit more colorful, I think they would look super cute as kind of just like a wash of color across the lids as kind of a, I'm not sure if I would use it actually that much in real life. Maybe it's more for like my fantasy self who like wears a lot of Glossier and, you know, will do like a wash of color on the lid. That is really not how I do my makeup, obviously. But in theory, I think that kind of person is very cool. So that is why I included those. I also decided I really wanted to try Natasha Denona's shadows, so I decided to put her Love palette in there. But I decided to go for her Love palette because I think out of all of the eyeshadow palettes, that one has a color scheme that appeals to me the most. I love a good red, pink, purple color scheme. I really like those sorts of shadows. I love a good sunset-y feel to that sort of look, and I had never tried Natasha Denona's formula as far as eyeshadows go because that's expensive and I have plenty of other eyeshadows, but if I'm splurging, you know, why not give that one a shot? I've heard decent things about it. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but as far as color schemes go, I would rather get that one than, say, like the gold palette that everyone raves about, just because I don't think I would use that one quite as much as everyone else does. So I got that, and I also decided to put in the Love Glow Cheek palette. That one got really good reviews, just because I've also wanted to try her cheek formula as well. I had originally wanted one of her like larger cheek palettes, but I decided like that's really expensive for something like that, so I said maybe not, maybe try something smaller, you know, a little bit pinky that would kind of go with that palette, you know, and really get a feel for that formula as well. I think it just, that entire collection looked really fun to me, so, and I know I would never actually buy it in real life. Okay, let me go for one that was just one product from one brand, and that is the Violet Voss Sakura Blossom Eyeshadow and Pressed Pigment Palette. I saw this actually this Sunday in Angelica Nyqvist's new makeup releases video, and I know that it's probably not everyone's cup of tea. It's a very pinky red neutral palette. It kind of looks like an extended version of one of those, like whatever ColourPop released last spring. I think it's like their Sweet Talk palette, the one with like the little peaches and that one pressed glitter in it that I know a lot of people haven't really liked, but I didn't quite want to buy that one. This one kind of looks something that would be a little bit more up my alley. It is very pink. I like pink eyeshadow, but I know that I don't own a whole lot of it aside from my Huda Beauty Neon Pink palette, so I really wanted to give that one a shot. I think it would be super fun. This might actually be one that I would pick up in general, possibly. It's $42, which I don't think is a bad price point for an eyeshadow palette. I've heard really good things about the Violet Voss formula. I'm not sure if it will be my next palette purchase IRL, but you know, it's definitely on my list of things that I would want to try. Like I said, I've always wanted to try a Violet Voss palette, and maybe this one's the one. I don't know. I'm still waiting for that Little Berries palette to come back in stock at Sephora. That would have actually been in this if it were in stock, but it's not. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's move on to some Melt Cosmetics because I wanted to get a few different things from Melt. Firstly, I wanted to buy their Rust eyeshadow palette, and I know that this is very much a neutral palette. But when it comes to neutral palettes, first of all, I really love the grungy browns that come in the Melt Gemini palette, and the Rust palette kind of looks like an extension of those sorts of shades. And I've also kind of come to realize in my collection, I have palettes that have pops lots of neutrals, but I don't necessarily, aside from perhaps like Modern Renaissance, I don't have like an all neutral palette, and I don't even consider Modern Renaissance all neutral because of pops of like red and pink in there. As far as neutrals go, I really love a good grungy eye, and I'd always lusted after the Rust stack. There are lots of cruelty-free bloggers who really like that, and I was always like thinking about getting it, but it was a little bit expensive for what that was and how it would work in my collection. But as far as those sorts of shades go, you know, it's not something that I would want to spend $58 solely on that palette, but if it were in my collection, I know I would get a lot of use out of it. I've heard really wonderful things about it, and, you know, maybe if I catch it on a sale, I would get it. But if I did have $1,000, I would definitely buy that. And I also use that as an opportunity to get a couple of the Melt Cosmetics bullet lipsticks. I'm currently wearing one of the bullet lipsticks from Melt in the shade Mum, and I realized I'm not a huge high-end bullet lipstick person just because unless it's a very unique shade, I don't feel like there's anything particularly revolutionary you can do with that sort of formula, you know? Like, I like the Vice lipsticks from Urban Decay, I like the Melt lipsticks, but as far as I'm concerned, they do the exact same thing as lipsticks from Milani and e.l.f. and like CoverGirl and all of that. So I don't think that you can do particularly anything that would make a bullet lipstick worth $19-20, and these both retail for $19. But if I did have that opportunity, I would get two shades. One is in Moto, which is a nice teal, and I love a good teal lipstick, and I think one of the reasons I was also leaning towards the Melt formula for that is I feel like they do a matte lipstick very nicely. Normally I would go for a liquid lipstick when it comes to the more unique colors, but I feel like Melt does a very good matte lipstick formula where I don't feel like the color is going to go a million different places if I don't use a lip liner. I feel like they would do a good lipstick formula as far as the more colorful shades go. So I got the shade Moda, which is a teal, and then Tomboy, which I don't know if it would actually look good on me. It's kind of like an olivey, grungy, grayish green shade. Yeah, I don't know if that would actually be a flattering lip color on me, but I'm figuring, hey, if I'm spending $1,000, I can afford for something to not be perfect on me. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that I also put in the Gunmetal eyeshadow palette stack from Melt, and this is also something that I had been looking at. It is in my loves list. It is $48 for 4 shades, which is a lot of money in my opinion, and I know that I'm not the biggest gray eyeshadow wearer. I have the Urban Decay Naked Smoky and the CoverGirl dupe for that, and I like them, but I know that I don't get as much use out of those as I would some of the other shadows in my collection. But even though I know I'm not a super huge gray cool toned eyeshadow person, or at least not as much as I used to be, I still look at that color scheme and I think that it is absolutely stunning. So would I use it? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they'll make like a full-on palette like they seem to be doing with their other stacks. But even if I wouldn't use it, I think it's really pretty, and I like it a lot. Now I think I am going to move on to the stuff I wanted from Huda Beauty, which is a surprising amount. Ever since that I got the little amethyst obsession, no, it was the sapphire obsessions that I got for my graduation, I've kind of been very obsessed with Huda's eyeshadow formula because I got a couple others. I got the amethyst and the neon pink obsessions, and I really like the textures that her shimmers have, and I really like the idea of the monochromatic palettes. Huda has really drawn me in with her palettes, and I've heard lots of good things about many of her palettes. So, firstly, I have the Desert Dusk eyeshadow palette, which that's not something I would pay full price for just because it's $65, which to me is a lot. Again, it's kind of like the Rust palette. I might get it on sale, but I'm definitely not paying full price. But that sort of sunsetty color scheme really appeals to me. I have talked about this before. I've been trying to find a good sunset eyeshadow palette. I've almost found a couple, but nothing is quite right. So I would really like to try that one just because I love the juxtaposition of the warm tones and the purples. I think I would get some good use out of it, but I know it's gotten mixed reviews. But I think it's something that I would really enjoy. I'm just don't know if I would $65 enjoy it. And I've also been looking at a couple more of her mini obsessions palette, which are kind of the ones that draw me in a little bit more because I love smaller palettes and some of her big palettes are a little too big for me. So firstly, I'm looking at the ruby one, and I love red eyeshadow. I think that would be super fun, and that's only $27. And then I also am looking at the pastel lilac obsessions, and y'all know that I am not a huge pastel person. I don't think that they're super flattering on me. But after I saw Jackie Aina use the Lilac Obsessions one as well as the Mint one, which the Mint I don't think would look really great on me, but the Lilac one seemed to be super flattering and very, very pigmented, and I think if I go for a more pigmented sort of pastel shade, that would look super nice. And I figure with the ruby one, I can do a very nice, like, Gerard Way, My Chemical Romance type look, which is what I love with red eyeshadow. I feel like more people should wear red eyeshadow. They're so afraid of it, but it's so good. So yeah, I figured those would also be kind of on my list of things to give a shot. Honestly, I might pick both of the mini palettes up down the line, and I just had the thought of maybe if I paired the Ruby Obsessions and the Amethyst Obsessions, I will get, you know, already kind of my perfect red to purple palette, and that way I won't feel the need for the Desert Dusk palette. Who knows? So that's the eyeshadow. I'm getting a lot of eyeshadow in this theoretical situation, but y'all gotta guess that. And then I also decided that I would include the Tantor Contour and Bronzer Cream in the shade Fair, just because I feel like it would be something very unique. I don't know if I would like this product. I've heard a lot of people really do, and I like that they have a pretty diverse shade range in that, and also in her foundation. I think she does shade ranges pretty decently from what I've seen and heard from other folks. But, you know, I've really come to enjoy my cream contour from Fenty, and so I don't know if that shade would be super flattering on me, but it is the lightest one there. I can give it a shot, and I've heard a lot of other people really enjoy it, and that I've heard that it blends a little bit better than the Fenty Matchsticks. So I think it would be a fun product for me to give a shot, because I don't often change up like the contour bronzer products that I use, because I feel like you can only do so much with them. But from what I've heard, that one is pretty nice, pretty flattering. A lot of people really enjoy it, so you know, it's worth a shot. It's $30, which is why I'm not buying it immediately, but other people seem to really like it. Okay, moving on from Huda Beauty, I decided to put in my basket three Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eye pencils, just because ever since I kind of discovered the ColourPop cream gel liners, I've really figured out the impact that a colorful waterline can really have on an eye look. I feel like it really pulls everything together, and I really love the Urban Decay formula. I currently have two in my collection. One I got as a freebie from Ulta, and the other one was one that my mom had and that she decided that she didn't want to use anymore. So I think they're really great formula. They really do stay on a long time. They stay on 24/7 if they could. You know, I don't wear my makeup that long, thank God. But they live up to their name. So I got them in the shade Chaos, which is my favorite eyeshadow shade from Urban Decay of all time. I really wish they would bring it as a single eyeshadow, because I would absolutely buy that. That's a rant for another day. I love Chaos. I feel like it looks very, very good with my eye color. I love that sort of blue shade. I feel like it's very fun, very bright, very flattering. I often use that shade from the Electric palette as kind of a one shadow sort of look, so I would love to have it in eye pencil form. I also decided to put in the shade Viper, which is more of a purple shade, as well as Woodstock, which is a pink. And I think as far as eyeliner colors go, those sort of cover the basis of a lot of the more colorful eye looks that I go for. I would put in more, but they're $22 each, and I wanted to kind of create a little bit more of a variety of colors in the realm of my dream Sephora basket. But I figure with a blue, a purple, and a pink, that would cover what I usually do with my eyeshadow pretty decently and give me a good start on my Urban Decay pencil collection. Let's go with Fenty. I have two things from Fenty. The first one is the Diamond Balm All Over Diamond Veil, and that is $39, and this has been sitting in my Sephora loves list for a very long time, just because I don't know if I'm going to like it. I've heard so many people rave about it, and it's in the shade How Many Carats, which is kind of like, it has a clear background to it, if that makes sense, and it's just like an all over glitter sort of highlighter, and that's what's like kind of making me wonder if it's going to be something I like, because I don't normally like super glittery highlighters because I like it to pop, but I don't like it to pop my skin texture. So hopefully that would be something that I think would be really nice. Like, I always swatch it when I go into Sephora, and it seems really nice, and I feel like I just need to bite the bullet on it, but it's $39, which is many, many, many dollars to me for a highlighter. Highlighter is kind of similar to how I feel about blush products. I don't own that many high-end highlighters either, just because I feel like a lot of drugstore highlighters do the exact same thing. And I also decided to go for the iconic Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. Again, that's something that's been on my loves list for a long time. I just haven't picked it up because when I go for makeup, I usually get the most excited about eyeshadow and like bright lipsticks, and I don't often buy a lot of staples in my collection unless I am running out of something else, or, you know. And I feel like the Fenty Glow Gloss Bomb would actually be a staple in my collection. I just have never decided to pick it up, and I don't get why. It's 19 bucks, which to me, for a lip gloss, I think you get a decent amount of product in there. I don't think that's necessarily a bad investment. I just haven't decided to bite the bullet on it yet, but I might soon. Okay, and the rest are all things from different brands. Let me go with the color cosmetics first, and then I have one skincare product and one perfume. I decided to go with the Patrick Ta Monochrome Moment Velvet Blush in She's Sincere, just because, kind of along the same lines as that Bareminerals Gen Nude blush, I feel like Patrick Ta's blush line is something that was kind of made for me, someone who, you know, doesn't love a bold blush but does want something rather neutral and, you know, will add a little bit of color to my face. And She's Sincere kind of seems like a very neutral, natural blush with like a satin finish, and I've heard pretty good things about their formula. That retails for $32. I also decided to go with the Tower 28 Beauty Beach Please Tinted Lip and Cheek Balm in Magic Hour. Again, it seems like a pretty neutral tone of blush. This one's a cream blush, and I've heard really good things about Tower 28's products. I haven't tried anything from them yet because I feel like they're a very new brand to Sephora, but from what I've heard from a lot of people who have similar tastes to me, they seem to be a pretty good brand. And then I also have the Antonin Certified Organic Highlighter in Endless Summer, which is $42, and that's why I haven't bought it yet, because it's $42, but the packaging looks exquisite. The color is very, very nice. It looks like something that I would really enjoy. It's a nice baked formula, and you know I love the Milani baked blushes and the baked bronzer from them, so I love a good baked cheek product. I think I saw Jay Kissa talk about these a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and it just looked like something I would really, really enjoy if I were to decide to invest a lot of money into a cheek product. I don't know if it would be a highlighter on my skin necessarily. I think it would be more like a blush topper perhaps, but it looks like something that I would really, really like. And then the last two products, the first one I have is the Kate Somerville Exfoliate Intensive Pore Exfoliating Treatment, and I decided to go for the $85 one because honestly, if I had a lot of money that I could spend at Sephora, I would absolutely go for a full size of this product. I always get sample sizes and like little travel sizes when I do get it. I feel like it works so well for my skin. I love how it makes my skin feel, but obviously it's super expensive, so it's not something I'm going to buy all the time. It's more like a skin treat for me. So if I were able to get a full size of that, my skin would just be looking fantastic all the time. And then I had to go for the Nest Indigo perfume. I got this as a sample from Sephora a long time ago, and I made it last because that is honestly a very, very, very beautiful floral kind of tangy scent, and that's not something that I usually go for. I usually go for something a little bit spicy and warm, but that scent is so, so beautiful, but it's $74 for like a regular size perfume bottle. I wouldn't just want to go for a little travel size. I would want the full size of that because it smells so good and it is so luxurious, and I love that scent so, so, so much. But I mean, I already have a couple perfumes right now, and I've also ordered a couple off of Etsy that I'm gonna try, so I don't feel like I particularly need any more scented items, but if I were to buy one, it would be that. Okay, so I've talked a lot. I think that is it for this video. I gotta go get myself some lunch, you know, at 3:38 in the afternoon because I have no sense of time and space. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to do this video and you have a channel, tell me do it. And like, if you're in the comments, you know, tell me what would be in your $1,000 Sephora cart. I've successfully deleted everything off of there, so that'll suck for editing, but at least it'll get that anxiety of, oh my god, what if I press checked out? Out of my brain. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this look, that is actually going to be in my next video, which is a 3-luxel palette with the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette. And if you want to see that, or any other videos from me, you should subscribe down below, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye!